What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode here of BassandFurious TV. Thank you all for tuning in. I do appreciate it. You guys have been liking the videos. I noticed quite a few new subscribers and some positive feedback on the videos thus far. So for this particular series, I'm going to just try to keep going, try to cover as many baits as I can and share what I know about them to maybe help somebody else catch one more, two more, or maybe 97 more fish. I don't know which one, but somewhere in between there. If it works, mission accomplished. Okay, so for today's video, I want to dive right in. Again, this series is based on the fact that I got tired of assuming that everybody knows everything about bass fishing, and I'm trying to share some tips with professionals. I'm trying to share some tips with some people that want to learn how to fish, how to catch some fish, and they just want to go out and have a good day on the water. They don't care about what boat you run. They don't care about they don't care about none of that. They just want to get out on the water. They want to know, what can I throw? They're basically saying to me, literally, Ty, what can I throw to go catch a bass? I get that question so many times. How do I go catch a bass? I see you catching all these bass. How do I go catch one? That's what I'm trying to break the series down. I'm hoping somewhere in between there, I can maybe provide something that might help someone else. And for me, honestly, again, I listen, I learn, I pick up, and then I try to share as much as I can to help someone kind of skip. Because you got to realize, when you're getting into bass fishing, there's a learning curve. You go talk to somebody, if you just got into fishing and you go talk to somebody who's been fishing for 30 years, they're going to use words and terms that you will have no clue, and they're going to think that you know them because you say you like fishing. And that's where the disconnect is. Somebody that likes fishing, they'll listen to you talk about this, and this, and they have no idea what you're saying. So I'm trying to break and make this series break down, so from the bare basics, and that way you guys can kind of build and grow on what you know. So I'm talking to you guys about a bait. You guys see I bought a trophy out here today. This bait is literally one half of the tag team duo that helped me get this trophy right here in a competitive bass fishing tournament. So that's where I went from not knowing anything about bass fishing to competing in a tournament. This is one of 3 trophies. I got a winning championship trophy up there. I got this one, and I got another one up there as well. And I got a few more top 10s and a couple more wins. So just depends, guys. I've been fishing not very long, 7-8 years, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that I've learned, and I'm hoping to share something that might help someone. So today's video, we're going to talk about one of my absolute favorite baits to throw myself, and absolute favorite baits to tell someone to throw when they want to start catching bass. Like, this is my go-to. If they say, hey, I want to catch some bass, and they get in a boat with me, or they're on the water and I'm on the water, I'm showing them this bait because I want you to catch something. So listen to me good now. If you wants to get out there and catch something, and you just getting in, you need to know what to go get. This is what you need to go get. Grab this, head to your local pond, your lake, your river, whatever it is. You pitch it out and you listen, and once you know what it is and you start talking to other people about it, you'll pick up new tips. You'll find new things work for you, new ways to fish it work for you, and next thing you know, you're out here smashing them, and you're taking one of these. You're getting one of yourself one of these if you want. If you just want to enjoy a day of fishing, then you're just going to enjoy a day of fishing, which is phenomenal. So without further ado, we're going to dive right in. One of my absolute favorite baits. If you guys see it, I got a whole hoodie dedicated to it, and of course I wore the Never Give Up hoodie in the Cinco video, because clearly I did not properly plan. But I have a fish only Cinco's video. I have a Cinco on, and I got a Never Give Up hoodie. By the way, all the hoodies are available, so check them out. It should pop up on the screen while you're watching. But thank you for everyone who's already bought a hoodie. I got like maybe 30 of y'all and already bought one, so I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Now, I say Cinco, but the reason why I didn't put it together for the video is because it's not really, this technique is not Cinco specific. This is a Wacky Rig. Okay, so some of y'all I lost right there when I said Wacky Rig. Oh, he gonna talk about a Wacky Rig. Come on, man, a Wacky Rig. Man, I've been throwing a Wacky Rig since I was 3. That's great. Maybe you go watch a different video, okay? Or maybe I say something that might can help you. Who knows? It doesn't matter. I'm trying to help someone catch a bass. So again, just because you caught 37,000 fish on a Wacky Rig, I also caught 37,000 fish on a Wacky Rig. Somebody else hasn't caught a bass at all, and they would like to catch one. So here we go. Let's dive in. So, Wacky Rig. You say, what's a Wacky Rig? Why is it a Wacky Rig? For one, to be honest with you, I really don't know why it's called wacky. I mean, it looks wacky. It is wacky. It could be called several things based on how this looks. But basically, the definition meaning for Wacky Rig is basically a soft plastic. So you're talking Senko, some type of worm style bait. So let's say, like I've been doing all the videos, if you're in a store, you're going shopping, you're looking down the aisle, you're like, man, what do I need? What do I need? One, you got to pick a worm style bait. So whether it be a Senko, trick worm, finesse worm, janitor worm, or any type of worm from these companies that has a worm that's big enough to where you can put a hook in the middle of it is what you need. So you need a worm, and you want the worm to match, you guys should be able to say it at this point, whatever's in your water. Okay, so whether you got bluegill, you got shad, you got perch, all these different things that can be in the water that bass would eat, because you're trying to catch a bass, right? The whole video is dedicated to catching bass, guys. That's what we're talking about. Smallmouth, largemouth, don't matter. Catching a bass. Bass will eat a bluegill. Bass will eat a herring. Bass will eat a perch. Bass will eat literally anything in the water. Snake, bat, they'll eat anything, right? But this one particularly, whatever you're trying to find a worm color that matches what is in the water where you're fishing at. So this one I got kind of a bluegill, sun perchy kind of pattern, red ear sunfish kind of pattern. So I'm trying to catch a bass. I want to imitate what the bass may eat. So you get a worm. The other part is a hook. This hook here is by VMC. You can pick any type of hook you want, but it basically needs to be a hook like this. I like this kind of circle kind. There's a more straight kind. The hook is really going to come down to preference. A lot of times when you hear people talk about wacky rigging, it comes down to preference. Some people like this hook. Some people like a different hook. Some people like that hook. Some people like this hook. Some people are sponsored by this hook, so they say they like that hook, but they really use a different hook. There's a lot of things that go into it, but you need a hook, and then you need line. So basically fishing line. The hook has an eye on it. You tie your line, tie it right there. I typically use a Palomar knot. I haven't said that in any of my videos, but I use a Palomar knot most of the time. There's so many different knots. I rarely say what knot I use because as soon as I mention it, everybody mentions their knot. And to be honest, I just don't want to hear it. I got a knot that works for me. I haven't lost fish due to my knot. I've lost fish due to not being able to land a fish. Haven't lost it to my knot. So whatever knot you tie, that's what knot you tie. I tie a Palomar. If you want to look up how to tie a Palomar knot, there's tons of videos. Type it in P-A-L-O-M-A-R knot. Type that in and you can find it. But Palomar knot, I tie the knot, tie it to my hook. And then for me, if people, they got so many different ways you can rig this. I'm not even doing a rigging video, and I'm literally just telling you about the technique. You take the hook, you put it through the middle of the worm, and you are literally ready to go fishing. That's it. That's why I recommend this technique, because it is such an effective, efficient, powerful fish catching bait. That trophy right there, like I said, half of it came from this. So several of them up there came. The one I won, a fish came from the Wacky Rig because I had to downsize and I had to try to get a fish. I needed a bite. So I picked up my Wacky Rig. If I want to get a bite, I'm picking up either a drop shot, which I'll do a video on very soon, or a Wacky Rig. Those are my two, or shaky head. Those are my three like go-to that they got to be in my boat, in my kayak at all times, because if I need a bite, one of them is going to come out. Normally, it's probably going to start with the Wacky Rig, depending on how deep I'm fishing. So, again, same thing. We walked in the store. We got our worm. We got our hook. Tied it onto our favorite pole, our line. I typically use a spinning pole. Some people use a bait caster. The pole's up to you. I'm assuming that part of the video is kind of assume that you do have a fishing pole, okay? If you're watching a fishing video, I'm going to think that you have a fishing pole. You're just trying to figure out what to tie on it. I'm helping you with the tie on part. So tie it on your favorite pole. A very sensitive, a good feel pole will come in handy for this technique as well. You can throw it on pretty much anything that you want, but a sensitive rod will help you feel those bites when they just barely pick it up and you still want to catch them. So, but basically you get this, you hit to your pond. Depth matters, but at the same time, you can let this thing just sink. And how do you know it sank? You cast out, you wait till your line stops and hits the water and falls flat. That's how you know it's on the bottom. So let's say you're fishing a pond, 5 feet, 7 feet, 9 feet, whatever the case may be. You got grass, you got rock, you got wood, whatever the case may be. You're basically just casting this out everywhere that you can get to in the pond to start, until you'll start to realize where you're getting bites. Once you start getting bites, then you can formulate a plan on, I got a bite here in this spot. Let me look for a similar spot in other parts of where I'm fishing so I can duplicate what I just did. That's how that works. So basically, if I cast out in the middle, I don't get a bite. I cast halfway between the middle and the bank, I don't get a bite. I cast right up by the bank and I get a bite. I'm gonna run that whole bank until they stop biting. And if they stop biting quickly, I'm gonna go back in the middle. I'm gonna go back half middle. I'm gonna go back all the way middle. What that's called is fan casting. You're basically fan casting. You're trying to cover different parts of there until you start getting bit. When you start getting bit consistently, then you know this is what I need to be doing. And even when you know what you need to be doing, at some point you still got to switch that up because they will move. Bass are smart enough to realize that, hey, my cousin just got snatched out of here. My other cousin on my mama's side, twice removed, she got snatched up out of here. My little nephew got snatched up out of here. They almost got grandma, but she broke it off, right? Like, once they start to see these things happening, they're not going to just keep setting up to be like, hey, come hook me. They're going to start moving around. So you still got to check other things even when that happens. So that's why I say you need to just fan cast, but you can kind of pinpoint some things with this particular bait. So for Wacky Rig, it is literally that simple, guys. And that's why I did this one. Kind of want to throw this one here in the middle because I've talked about several ones that require a lot of work. This one, very straightforward. Now, I'll add a couple of tweaks in here. If you want to make it go deeper, faster, pause, you can add a weight to it, okay? So you can put a weight right in the front. I mean, some people, I'm sure, put a weight in the tail, in the front, whatever the case may be. You can put a weight in it. It's called a nail weight. You put a little nail weight in there. You could actually literally use a nail. You gotta just put something in there it'll make the front of it sink down faster. And if you look at it, it's wacky. So when it goes down, as you see how I'm doing, it usually goes down just like that. Nice and subtle, nice subtle action, goes down. The fish just see it and they just can't resist it because it's just moving. It's just moving right in front of their face. They bite it. They usually, so you got to remember with a bass, typically a bass is going to suck something in. Like they see it, they'll suck it in. When they suck it in, you may not feel that. That's why I say the equipment matters. The equipment matters to be able to feel a little sensitive because they may suck it in and just take off. You may not have felt that they take off. Sometimes you will. If you don't, if something feels different or you're sinking it down and you feel it going down, then you don't feel anything, you got to set the hook because the fish may have it. Also, too, same thing with the jig. You got to be a line watcher because, like I said, you may not feel them pick this up. They may not just pow, just hit it. Sometimes they just they'll suck it in, they take off. Their mouth is really big, so they just get it and they're gone, and you have no idea that they're gone. So sometimes you just got to check it, set the hook, and always, if you think you're in grass, just be careful because the grass typically can be a fish, and you'll be like, you won't set the hook because you think you're just hung up in grass and you don't want to pick a bunch of grass off, but you have a bass on. So you just got to be familiar with that. I will touch on this a little bit because I know some people are going to see it and be like, why'd you rig it that way? I rig mine so simple, guys. I put it right through the middle and I keep it moving. But you can, depending on how you're getting hookups, you can rig it through this way. Same thing, still a Wacky Rig. Just put it right through the middle. This has the head go down and look like it's eating this way. Like I said, you can go straight through. A lot of people use what's called an O-ring. They slide it. It's an O-ring tool you can get. You slide an O-ring, which is like just a little rubber band, basically. The rubber band goes right over the middle. They put their hook right underneath the rubber band. Sometimes that can help you not burn through so many of these because these are soft plastics, right? So if you're not familiar with these are soft plastics. Literally, it's in the name, soft plastic. It will rip, it will tear, especially if you start catching them or jacking them, or if you're around chain pickerel or toothy fish, catfish, you know, whatever, they will tear this up, and you will go through a whole pack of them to catch 3 bass, depending on what brand you use and company and all that stuff like that, which is why I haven't got into a lot of that in a lot of these videos. I'll mention some stuff I'm using, but when it comes down to brand and who you're using, basically it comes down to what you can afford and then what you like. A big thing with Senkos too, though, is the rate of fall. Some of them just, instead of doing that really cool action I showed you, some of them just go straight down, just bam. You might get bit on that. Some of them sink really slow based on how they're made. Salt content, not salt content. They just may go down really slow. Some of them just drop straight to the bottom. It just depends. So depending on the one you get, some are really affordable. You can get a pack of 10 for like $3. Some you can get a pack of 7 for $8. It just depends on what you're going to spend on it. But it's the most affordable way, guys. You literally can buy a rod and reel, whatever you want to get, $50, $70. This one here is probably $300 total for my setup. But that's just, I mean, guys, I compete. This is what I do. So I invest in myself, and I want what I want, right? So I'm just going to use whatever I want to use. But you can get any type of little setup here that you need for your fishing. You buy a pack of hooks. You buy a pack of worms. You put the hook through the middle of the worm, and you bomb that thing out, and you hold on tight, because you will start getting bites. You can spend $300 on a swim bait, and this guy will spend $6 on a pack of worms and a pack of hooks, combined $6, and go out and wear this guy out that's throwing this $300 bait. The bait, the price, a lot of that stuff doesn't matter. Sometimes it comes down to preference. Some people like catching fish on swim baits. Some people like catching fish on chatterbaits, jigs, that kind of thing. That's phenomenal. That's great. This right here gets you into fishing, and you will catch something on this, and you will be so excited. And when they're pulling and tugging on this thing and you fighting them, I'm telling you, it's literally definition of hook. You will be, and you'll want to keep getting back out there and doing it again. You'll have fun. And then as you keep going, you'll replace this with a chatterbait, and you'll replace it with a crankbait, and you replace it with different things because you're like, oh, maybe I'll try something else today. But this will get you in there. Like I said, it literally put money in my pocket because this thing does catch them. I can't even count the number of times that I've made money throwing just a worm. And sometimes I wonder why I bring other stuff when I go fishing, because I know I'm going to just end up throwing a worm anyway. I throw this worm, and I throw another worm. I don't know if I'm actually going to make a video about that worm, because that's like my secret go-to worm that I don't tell anyone about, like, ever. You guys have never heard me mention this bait on my channel ever in life. If this video gets 1,000 likes, which I've never had a video get 1,000 likes in my life. If this video gets 1,000 likes, I will do a video sharing my go-to technique. It's not nothing crazy. It just works, and it's a very specific color, and it just works, guys. I throw it. I got 2 colors like that. I throw them everywhere. If this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll share one of the 2. I'll give you the breakdown on the setup. And because just, guys, I appreciate it. If you like the video, like the videos, and I'll make more videos. It is what it is, right? Even if you don't like it, I'm still going to make more videos. But hopefully this video helps. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Thank you so much, guys, for watching the videos. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. Check out the Never Give Up hoodies, the Fish on the Cinco's hoodie, all of that. And also, if you're looking for something to protect your rods, the Evolve rod sleeves, I'll leave a link in the description and a code in the description where you can save 15% off on the Evolve rod sleeves by using my code, which is BassandFurious15. You can shop, and I have other links in there as well. You can save 20% on Grundens if you use my link. So if y'all shop Grundens, y'all want them boots, those shoes, you can shop those, save 20% on getting those Deck Boss boots that everybody loves wearing. Waterproof Jones, get out in the water and be good to go. You can save 20% if you use my code. BassandFurious20 for Grundens, BassandFurious15 for Evolve. Get out there, get you the right gear, get you a little bait, get after it. The other thing I want to fine-tune before someone corrects me on this, if you add a weight to this, to the front, you turned it from a Wacky rig into a Nico rig. Just so I know it's final details, guys. I tell people I throw a Wacky rig. I won't say Nico rig because I don't want them to know what I'm doing. I'll say I threw a Wacky rig. They go throw a Wacky rig. They didn't weight it. I smashed them. They didn't. It's competitive out here, guys. I'm just being real. Sometimes an angler will tell. I had a guy tell me that at the ramp one day. He said, man, I caught all my fish on a Cinco. I was like, dude, I threw a Cinco all day. He didn't tell me his Cinco was weighted. He didn't tell me any of the things about it. He just said he threw a Cinco. People do it all the time. So I ain't no different. I will tell you I threw a Cinco all day. I may not tell you that it was weighted. I may not tell you that I didn't Wacky rig it. I Texas rigged it. But this series is not about that. This series is about me trying to help somebody catch a bass. So hopefully this will help you catch a bass. And then maybe you can tell someone that you caught it on a Wacky rig when you really threw a Nico rig. I just want to make sure I add that piece in there because I know that'll be first thing somebody get in the comment and be like, hey, that was a Nico rig because you put a weight in there. Yeah, I know. But I'm trying to keep it. I want to keep it as basic as I can, guys, because I want you to get out there, have a good time on the water, enjoy yourself, and don't bog yourself down with a bunch of terms and foolishness. Get you a worm, get you a hook, tie it on a rod and reel, and get out there and have some fun. Thank you guys for tuning in. I do appreciate it. I'll catch you guys on the next one. My Bass and Furious friends, you guys are awesome. I'm out. Peace.